Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from the Bulletcast. It's Philip. How's it going, man?
Huey, it's Saturday.
I know, it's Saturday.
Saturday evening. I received a text message the other day, Baby Huey. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
As it pertains to you, my show, and, this show since I'm on it.
Yeah.
Where is it at? Where is it at? One more thing. The show feels weird since you lost the Bulletcast title. Please win your title back. That was from if you've heard of me promote HD for Life.
Yeah.
New graffiti company on, what is it? Teespring is now spring.com, right?
Yeah. They changed
so
the name.
We were talking about some stuff going on, and then he sent me that, and I was like, you know what? I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I miss being champion. You know what I mean?
It feels good to be champion, baby.
It does feel good. That's why Tom Brady signed a 1-year extension with the Bucks. Because it feels good to win.
Exactly.
It feels good to be the guy. It feels good to be the man.
It's actually... No, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I could hear... Is your microphone hitting your beard? I hear I hear scratching sound.
It might be hitting my beard. Is that better?
There you go.
Yeah.
I was looking. I was like, why I hear a scratching sound? I thought it was like the Forbidden Door opening, like on Dynamite with that weird audio glitch that they had.
Oh, dude, let's not even talk about. Well, Jesus Christ.
So a side note. Okay, so I was watching, the East Coast feed of Dynamite live at like 5:00 our time on the TNT app, and I heard like that weird audio issue that was going on during the Ethan Page match, and I guess it was a feed from like a basketball game being piped in, and it was like this weird, you hear like the wrestling match, Shivani, Jim Ross, Excalibur doing the call, and then hear the audio from like an arena. I was like, that's weird. And then I rewatched Dynamite this morning, and I was curious, is it still there? And I noticed it wasn't. So on my DVR at home, it records the West Coast feed. So I'm guessing by the time Dynamite aired here on the West Coast, they cut out that audio issue. I'm like, oh, thank God. So, for you East Coast people, you got to hear this crazy noise. And then here on the West Coast, it was all cleaned up for us. So that's one benefit living on the West Coast, the best coast.
Yeah, man. Let's not start another one. I heard the squeaks, and I'm like, is somebody running suicides? Like, what is that?
Yes. I was like,
what's
what
happening?
is going on? No, it was just so weird. And it was just, and overall Dynamite, a lot of stuff happened. Some good, some bad.
A lot of stuff did happen, but more importantly, back to the Bulletcast championship.
Sorry. Okay, go, please.
I miss being champion. You know what I mean? Like, Brandon had the idea that we just retire the title and both of us are the last champion forever. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted to do. And you say I'm power hungry?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what? And we got, you know what, Huey?
What's that?
You know what? I'd like to make a nice announcement right here on the show.
Okay.
I'd like to change things up. You know how I like to do it here. The Bulletcast Championship will be on the line for both nights of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver and both nights of WrestleMania.
Hey, man, that's fine.
It's on the line 4 times in 1 week. I hope to win them all. I hope to be the greatest champion in the history of the world.
I'll just put it out there to all the Kliqsters. I am the people's champion, a workers champion, working champion. I will gladly
let me see that
defend
eyebrow. Let me see that eyebrow. There you go.
I don't know. I got it behind me. I got the cardboard cutout of The Rock behind me. So there, it's right
Hey,
there.
the champ is here. Yeah, I got Big John behind me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, so thank you once again to all the Kliqsters out there for tuning in. And as always, remember, subscribe to In The Kliq on your favorite podcast platform. Also, follow us on your favorite social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and get the merch by clicking the link in our bio at inthekliq@gmail.com. Man, so much to talk about on this episode of Dynamite. It was the Fallout episode from AEW Revolution. I've never seen a pay-per-view. I feel like it dissects so much in recent memory. So you and I, we did our AEW Revolution review. We just dissected that thing, top to bottom, especially the finish. And then I recorded with John LaRocca the next night. We talked about that finish some more. And even Richard, who doesn't watch AEW, he already told me he wants to break down that barbed wire death match, exploding death match. I record with him.
I have to be there for that. Hit me up. I'll gladly jump on. I have thoughts too.
Okay.
Dude, speaking of AEW Revolution, I threw this on the Bulletcast Instagram 4 hours ago. That is the highest grossing non-WWE wrestling show in the United States since 1999. They got $6 million in revenue.
So I'm guessing from streams, right? From all the like Fight TV and BR Live purchases, I would imagine.
And do you know who liked it? Team Taz's Will Hobbs.
Nice, of course.
Shout out. Friend of the show, friend of both shows.
Yeah, Bay Area's own.
Yeah, but that's what was it? East Palo, Oakland's most violent, even though it's from East Palo.
Don't ask John Moxley. John Moxley, who's an Ohio guy, has no idea how the Bay Area structure is.
I just watched his cage fighter movie today.
Oh, really? How was that?
It was actually interesting. I forgot Christian was in it. I'm like, oh, there's a tie. There's some
Christian?
things. Christian, yeah, he played
Christian Cage.
Christian Cage, yes. He played an MMA reporter in there.
Oh my God. Oh, really? He did? Actually, I got to text you something real quick. A funny meme.
Oh, God, I'm scared.
No, it's fun. It's goofy. It's goofy. I don't know if I'll post it on In The Kliq's page just because it has a big old watermark on it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't just give him credit, but
absolutely. What is this?
Okay, so the meme is some of the most iconic brother tag teams, and it's just a follow up to what you tweeted. So I know everyone listening right now. It's a photo. It's 4 photos of a collage. It's the Usos, the Hardy brothers.
Oh, that's funny.
And then Brian Cage, Christian Cage, and then Hangman Adam Page and Ethan Page.
Well, where's Adam and Michael Cole? Where are those guys?
Maybe I will post this later and just give and just properly credit where I saw this. So
that's great. Dude.
I mean, honestly, come on, a lot of these memes you can easily just recreate them yourself. I mean, that's the thing too. So it's not that hard. So, but then again, I don't have the time to be making a bunch of memes. I'll just copy and paste someone else's and give them credit. That's rightfully so.
Yes, because we are with a life. We don't have time to make memes.
I know. Dude, like that, I thought about that. I was like, I was trying to think how to make more engagement, like on social media. And it's like, it took me like, okay, so if you follow In The Kliq on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you will see kind of like the new graphic I was trying to make for promoting, one of our last episodes, the Revolution review. So, I was pretty proud of it. I'm not very skillful when it comes to Photoshop and whatnot, but, I like to make, instead of just posting a bunch of photos, I was like, let me make a collage and a nice little, graphic at the top and the bottom. So, I might start doing that. I'm probably going to start doing that, moving forward just to change things up a little bit from graphic standpoint. So please check that out. Hopefully you guys like it. Give it a like as well. So, but yeah, Dynamite, man, a lot of stuff to talk about. So just your overall, impression of this show, and then we'll break down everything all the segments and whatnot. But just, your initial takeaways from it.
Dude, I literally say this every week. There are things I liked. There are things I didn't like. And, oh my God. When we talk about the women's match, dude, how do you like that, what I just sent you?
I know that is great.
That would be badass. Yeah, but wow. I mean, dude, it's just, when it comes to the women's division, like,
dude,
I'll save my thoughts about that for when we actually talk about the match.
Okay, I'm with you. Like, dude, that was sloppy.
I just felt bad.
That was brutal. Like, even like I was rewatching it this morning, and my brother who's coming out of the shower was like, "Dude, Tommy, come look at this." Like, it was the sequence that we watched together, I was like, that's not good. Even like when Maki Ito was trying to hit Shida with the microphone and how just she wasn't hitting her. She was just and like making that motion.
Should we just go bad to good? Should we just do that now? I mean, we're already talking about it.
Well, no, okay. The main thing from Dynamite this week was the finish after the Inner Circle had their War Council. It led to MJF announcing a new faction, a new group to take out the Inner Circle. So MJF has aligned himself with, once again, Wardlow, FTR. Well, not once again. He's always been with Wardlow, but it's a Wardlow, and he's added Shawn Spears, FTR, and Tully Blanchard to the mix. And yeah, they're a new faction. They took out the Inner Circle. So, and this got everyone just pumped up. Social media was on fire. People reacting to this. So, as we saw on Revolution, MJF and Chris Jericho lost to the Young Bucks, and then later on in the night, in the pay-per-view, they had an announcement during their backstage interview that they want to have a meeting of sorts to kind of get back on the winning track, a War Council meeting. And so, I didn't know that was going to be the last segment of the night. So when I saw, watching Dynamite and see all these other matches take place, and I was like, when's the Inner Circle segment going to happen? And then I realized it was going to be the last thing. I was like, oh, damn, that's going to be interesting. And so, yeah, Inner Circle comes out to the ring, and Chris Jericho grabs the mic, and I noticed it was just Jericho, MJF, Santana Ortiz, and I was going to say Jack Swagger, Jake Hager. And I was like, where's Wardlow at? That's kind of odd. He's not there. And we know Sammy Guevara is, at the time, still MIA / left Inner Circle. So I'm watching this. I'm like, that's kind of odd. Where's Wardlow? I hope everything's okay. Because whenever you and I think we're so used to now, like when we see, someone not, not on television, we assume the worst. Maybe something's wrong or sick or something like that, especially in the time period that we're living through right now. So anyway, I see them come out to the ring. Jericho's more or less trying to, we got to get back on our winning ways. And he's more or less thinking, well, maybe the Inner Circle, we need to add a new member. MJF grabbed the microphone and says, no, we shouldn't add a member. Maybe we need to get rid of a member. So what do you think of just that overall kind of like the beginning of that tension between the two of them at first?
Well, we knew where this was going. MJF, he's kind of like Kevin Owens. He just turns on everybody.
Yeah.
That's his deal. That's what he does. He turned on Cody, and we thought he may turn on Wardlow. We knew he was going to turn on Jericho, and Jericho's been moving into the babyface realm with people, really just getting behind the song recently and singing it. Yeah. So I thought, oh, okay, we're finally gonna do this.
Yeah, so Sammy Guevara comes out to the ring, to everyone's shock. It's like, oh, here he is, and he's like, hey, I got video footage to show, and it shows MJF backstage with Hager and Santana Ortiz, and he comes in and he's like, more or less confessing his plans of how he wants to kick Chris Jericho out and become the new leader of the Inner Circle. And it looked like the rest of the guys were on board, give him like little knuckles or high fives, like, yeah, let's do this. And so they come out to the ring, and MJF is like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it to you like this way. And he tells the guys, get him. And so you see MJF, Hager, Santana Ortiz start walking towards Jericho and Sammy Guevara, and Jericho holds the bat. He's like ready to swing, and then all of a sudden Hager, Santana Ortiz keep walking forward, and then suddenly they spin around, and then all five of them look at MJF, and Jericho reveals, like, MJF, aren't you an idiot? Like, don't you really, stupid idiot? He's like, didn't you realize, like, we all talked to each other. Like, they've been in on it the whole time. They knew that MJF was gonna turn their back on them. And so instead, they're like, we're going to give you an old-fashioned Inner Circle beatdown. And Jericho pushes him, says, you're fired from the Inner Circle. MJF, I kind of enjoyed, his acting here, a little over the top, like wheelish, being like a weasel. Like, no, don't hurt me. No. I didn't mean to. And then his face turned and says, I don't want to take over the Inner Circle. I've been too busy building my own. And then the lights go down, turns black, and you hear the crowd roaring, and all of a sudden lights come back on, and you see Shawn Spears, FTR, and Wardlow in the ring, and the five of them start beating up the Inner Circle. What a moment that was.
I didn't see that. I did not see that one coming at all. I was like, oh,
dude, it's been a long time that we've had like a swerve or a surprise like that no one anticipated. Listen, there's so many wrestling podcasts out there trying to analyze every situation. I didn't see no one guess this or anticipated a switch. So it literally was a swerve on a swerve. How awesome was that? We all anticipated that maybe the Inner Circle, I think a lot of people coming out of Revolution thought the Inner Circle was going to turn on Chris Jericho and kick him out, and then Jericho would become like a baby face and go up against his former members in Inner Circle. But no, they swerved, and it's like Jericho's like, MJF, we knew you're a rat, so they all turned on him. And I was like, oh, great, that's awesome. Inner Circle's gonna kick out MJF and beat his ass. That's great.
Well, we all know where this is leading. Blood and guts.
Yes, I think so.
We all, because this is the match they originally wanted to do a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago next week. That's when it was supposed to take place. And, I think a year ago yesterday was like the last Dynamite with fans and everything.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is crazy. But looking at it, this is perfect because the elites really kind of know more. Cody's doing his own thing, and Kenny's with Gallows and Anderson, and we're going to talk about that stuff later.
Yeah.
But hey, man, this was cool. I mean, just the kind of the visual of Jericho bleeding and being carried out like crowd surfing in a way, like the rocker he is, and being thrown down off of the ramp down through the table. It's like, oh, wow, this is cool. And this was a star-making moment. Like, how important does Sean Spears feel right now?
First time in how many years?
Since he hit Cody with the chair.
I mean, if even more than that. I mean, that was the last time he was relevant. That was almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah, but I mean, he was really hot like when he was doing the 10 stuff, obviously. This must have felt important. Wardlow looked like an absolute beast. I can't wait for him to be a single star. FTR, this fits them. They can be in a big group setting, but then they can also go do some tag stuff and still kill it. And the mentorship of Tully Blanchard, hopefully J.J. Dillon pops back in every once and again, and does stuff. What's their name gonna be? Like, what's their merch gonna look like? Are they gonna have matching gear? Like, they probably will because they're old school like that.
And that's the thing. So let's break all this down as far as when they started beating up the Inner Circle. So it was kind of amazing. I saw someone say on Instagram or Twitter, it's like, oh my God, MJF went from heel to even more heel. Like, that's so rare that someone who's already heel, add more fuel to the fire and become even more of a heel. And that is such a rare thing that happened right there. And so I think it's safe to say Inner Circle have turned baby faces already in that moment. So that's very cool. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. And it makes sense, especially because, as you said, Jericho, when he comes to the ring, everyone's been singing his theme song for the longest time, the Judas song from Fozzy. So overall, this was such an awesome segment. Like I said, no one saw this coming. And listen, we saw the rumors for months now that the rumor was there's going to be a new generation of a 4 horsemen in AEW. A lot of people assumed it was going to be Cody Rhodes and FTR and stuff. And we finally saw some confirmation that something was in the works at Revolution when Spears aligned himself officially with FTR and had the connection of Tully Blanchard. But yeah, dude, and then that beatdown was awesome as far as them handcuffing Santana Ortiz and then Tully and FTR, pile driving them into the ground. Wardlow beating the crap out of Hager. MJF just sitting there on that top rope and just overseeing the whole thing with that very cynical look on his face.
Directing traffic kind of too.
Yeah, that was so good. Just the detail of him watching.
I got Triple H Evolution vibes kind of watching that.
Yeah, just the way he was watching it play out. It's this is my plan. I'm destroying Inner Circle. And then, Jericho busted up and he was crawling, trying to reach for the bat. And MJF, stood on or stepped on his hand you're not touching that bat. And then they grabbed him, beat him up, and then he hit him with the ring. MJF hit Jericho with the ring, busted him open, and then they went to the top of the ramp and threw him through the table. Powerbomb. That was such a great spot there.
That Dynamite doesn't ring hasn't felt more important.
Finally, I know, right?
I forgot that was even a thing.
But what was great is just that finish felt very Attitude Era for me as far as ending on a chaotic moment. Listen, I love when an episode of a wrestling show ends with a match and there's a winner and bam, that's the end of it. That's your traditional ending to a show. But it's been a minute where we had like a finish where it ends like on this very chaotic moment. The heels are standing tall and you're like, oh, you feel bad for the baby faces and you want like, what's going to happen next? But nope, end of the show. You have to wait next week to see what happens.
Honestly, it felt like that when Hager debuted in that first episode of Dynamite, where the Inner Circle, that's their first night, they destroy the Elite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, this is the kind of star power I wanted from Right to Censor, God damn it.
So just everything about this was just so great from the storytelling. Now, what happens next, that's yet to be seen. How they follow through this and execute this, that's yet to be seen. I mean, you touched on this. I really think this is probably going to lead to Blood and Guts. That's something they've been wanting to do for the longest time. For anyone listening who doesn't know, Blood and Guts was supposed to be AEW's version of War Games, like a War Games type match. Cage match with a double ring and, you know, two teams going at it. Originally last year, the goal was Inner Circle versus the Elite. It didn't happen. It led instead to the Stadium Stampede match, which let me ask you this. If it's not Blood and Guts, would you want to see a Stadium Stampede match between Inner Circle and this new group, MJF's group, at Double or Nothing?
No. I think Blood and Guts really fits this better because because like I'm pretty sure Tully was involved in one of those, right? I'm sure he competed in one of those. And
War Games back in the day. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah.
So he can give like his expertise about how to like kind of evade, like get it, how to evade the cage and using it to your advantage and stuff like that. And I mean, like we got Stadium Stampede because obviously there were no fans because of the pandemic. Now that more people are out and the vaccine seems to be really rolling out to all age groups, it seems like it seems like the more plausible thing to do. Now the question is, do you wait all the way till May 30th for Double or Nothing to do it? That's the real question.
Okay. Well, okay. I mean, if they take their time and do proper storytelling, that should be plenty of time to lead up to that.
But here's another thing. Like when you have like you could have mixes of like different incarnations. You can have FTR versus Santana and Ortiz. You can have MJF versus Sammy Guevara. You can have Wardlow and Hager again. You can have Jericho and Shawn Spears. You know, there are a lot of mixes you can do, but you don't want to overdo it. You know, you don't want to do it all the time because that's where like WWE where they have like mixes of all these different guys and it gets boring real quick. Yeah, you don't want to do that. What I said on the Bullet Cast, keep Jericho off TV. So like keep him off for a couple weeks. Like, let's see, like that happened.
And then they're outnumbered, right? So Inner Circle be outnumbered. So they, okay, so I will say this. So this is a spoiler. What kind of spoiler? I'm not going to actually spoil it, but they already filmed next week's episode of Dynamite on Thursday, I believe it was. And I believe they announced the name of this new faction on that show. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm sure a lot of people want to be surprised. But make sure you tune in to Dynamite next week because MJF will announce the name of his new group. And so I don't want to give any clues. I don't want, I probably said too much already. But anyway, just tune in to Dynamite. They're going to have a segment and they're going to break it all down and, talk about what their name is. So I'll just leave it at that. So
do you know if Jericho was on that show?
I do not know. I mean,
okay.
I saw one video saying that one spoiler. That's all I saw, and I was like, I don't want to see anything else. So, I'll just say, I did not know if Jericho was on the show or not. But I will admit, I heard that Jericho Fozzy has a tour in April, so maybe Jericho could be off TV for a bit doing the touring with Fozzy. So that would be interesting as far as maybe. If you're saying keep him off TV, this is a good way to write him off for a bit, and then maybe they could play a numbers game where Inner Circle is going to be down one man compared to MGF's group, and they're going to be constantly getting outnumbered and beat up on. So
so like that happened on the 10th. I'd keep Jericho off TV, and maybe he'd do promos from home. But like he doesn't have to physically be there till like the 24th or the 31st of this month, and then they give him like another beatdown that's so bad to where he's written off TV, but we know he's touring. Then like, do you know how long the tour's supposed to last? Is it all of April?
Let me see. Let me take a look because let me check Fozzy's Instagram because any band will like to put their whole tour schedule up there. I do not see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so I see a post from Fozzy from November last year. The Save the World tour. Here's the date. So let's see. They got shows April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th, and 9th, 10th, 11th, 15th. So, okay, so it looks like a little bit like less than a 2-week run. And then they got more shows in May for the majority of the month. So, if this is still accurate these months later, so it looks like on April, he could probably be off TV for the first couple weeks in April, then maybe come back for a couple weeks. And then it says Fozzie's last show is May 24th. Double or Nothing's what, May 31st?
It's May 30th.
May 30th. Okay. So theoretically, he can maybe he comes back, they take him out, and then he tours with Fozzy for the month of May, and then comes back right before Double or Nothing, make a big hero's return or something. You know what I mean? So that could potentially maybe be the storyline right there. And then the rest of the inner circle has to kind of fend for themselves. Maybe Sammy Guevara kind of takes more of the leadership role in that meantime, if that makes sense. Maybe that can be something they do. So, but yeah, no, a lot of questions. As you brought up matchups wise, yeah, Santana Ortiz versus FTR, that's going to be really good. I mean, obviously, we know FTR, they're one of the great tag teams. Santana Ortiz were doing great things in Impact. I know we've been very, disappointed in their run so far in AEW as far as them being more in the title scene. But maybe now as baby faces, this would be a good opportunity for them to maybe get some more opportunities to shine.
Absolutely. I want to see Sean Spears versus Sammy Guevara.
I've
always felt like Sean Spears was a very good talent, or a good hand, like Cody called him, which set up the little chair shot or whatever. But I've always felt like he was a super good talent that never really got his real appreciation. So I feel like now's the time for him to truly shine and show like what he can do. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this. Are you okay? So now there's 5 members, which is a little bit different. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be 4, like a 4 horsemen. Are you cool with 5 members in a group?
Oh, the 4 horsemen has 5 members with JJ Dillon. And
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, true. But I mean, like, okay, with them, they have 5
active wrestlers.
And they have Tully, and that's technically 6. So if you want to count,
I mean,
Tully is like playing the JJ role now.
Yeah, well, I don't know what their name is going to be, so I don't think it's going to have a number in it or whatever. But I think that's fine. MJF doesn't wrestle all the time anyway.
And what I like is about this group, what you said, the old school thing. MJF definitely wrestles like an old school style. His gear is very similar to FTR's as well. Sean Spears also is very kind of old school as well. And then Wardlow, he wears like the singlet, the strongman singlet. So that'd be kind of interesting if he gets. I hope these guys maybe get new gear now. It's all kind of matching and represents the group. I'm a little disappointed. I really thought maybe Nick Aldis would be part of this 4 horsemen group, but that didn't happen. Now, let me ask you this. Cody Rhodes, not part of this group. A lot of people were assuming that Cody Rhodes was going to be part of it. For me personally, I am happy he is not part of it, but it's still weird. Remember, Arn Anderson was looking at them, and it was at Revolution. He was eyeballing, like scratching his chin, and it pointed.
I think that was just because of the horseman thing, and
just like a one-time thing.
Yeah, you have like old school fans in the crowd, and just like, hey, we go way back.
So he's like just acknowledging Tully and JJ. That's it. Okay,
that's all that was.
So, but moving forward, I am happy Cody did not join, because I think I said even last year at some point, I was like, when the rumors were floating out there, to me, it just did not make sense. Cody Rhodes to be part of any form of a faction that is calling themselves the 4 Horsemen or similar to the 4 Horsemen. It does not make sense. We talked about this before. Dusty Rhodes, his big thing in the 80s was going up against the 4 Horsemen. So for his son to align himself with a 4 Horsemen group doesn't make sense. Even still, I'm still kind of curious why he aligned himself with Arn Anderson when Arn used to go up against his dad back in the day, but that's a whole nother story.
They probably have a great relationship, from Arn was a producer in WWE.
Yeah.
So that's probably that.
But for me personally, I'm happy Cody is separate, doing his own thing. Now, granted, if this group, MJF's group, takes off, maybe down the road, MJF and Cody, who already have history, they can cross roads again. No pun intended.
Cody beats MJF for the world title.
So, okay. Now let's think about this. Okay,
I've pitched this before where MJF gets his hands on it, and Cody like MJF puts up the title, but you have to put up something too, like you're not his career, because obviously he'd have to win. His title is EVP.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. I think that's, we all know, behind the scenes what he does for the company. So we know MJF is a big power trip himself and wants power. And so he can make offers like, listen, you put the title on the line and then I can wrestle for the title finally again. Or if I lose, you can have my EVP status. So that would be really cool if that's something they can do down the road. So anyway, I mean, there's a lot of options here, but so it's interesting. Long term, we have Kenny Omega. I think a lot of people still hope that Hangman's going to be the one to dethrone him eventually, maybe at All Out, which we talked about many times in September. But they got to start building up Hangman. That's a whole separate issue we could talk about. And then, maybe MJF could take it off Hangman at some point, and then Cody gets it from MJF. So that could be the next year and a half of AEW booking in the main event scene.
Let's say Hangman gets it or he could get it at one of the specials they do. Actually, no. Let's say he gets it at All Out
in front of a crowd. And stuff.
In front of a crowd. Let's say MJF beats him at Full Gear, and then Cody takes it from him at Revolution. Those are quick title changes, I know, but I mean the history with Cody and MJF culminated at Revolution last year.
Was that where?
Yeah, that's where MJF beat him.
And then he lost the title status. That
was at the first
that was at Full Gear.
Yeah, when he wrestled Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So and then MJF turned on him that same night as well.
Yeah.
So, man, so much to keep track of already. So listen, I really enjoyed this segment. I loved the way it played out. It was so unsuspected. It was just a lot of fun. And so now I was thinking, but now it's just from Tony Khan and the powers that be, from the story point moving forward, how they execute it. That's something you and I are going to keep track of, and hopefully they follow through with this properly and it stays compelling and exciting, for months to come now. So, all right, let's go down through the rest of the show itself. Let's see. So we had Matt Jackson taking on Rey Fenix in the opening match here. Listen, I mean, a fun opening match. You and I, we both know Matt Jackson. Him and his brother, the Young Bucks, they do such high-flying stuff. They very much wrestle that Lucha Libre style. So taking on Rey Fenix here, it was a great matchup. But I noticed, there was just no selling anything. One guy would hit a big move, and the other guy would get up and hit another big move back and forth. So I was like, it was just nonstop back and forth.
It was really PWG style. A couple spots here when Phoenix does the running on the top rope to punt a guy in the head. Matt he got out of the way. I thought he should have super kicked him right there while he was on the outside. He was in the ring. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Matt did super kick him, and Ray took a bump, popped back up, and insecurity him. I was like, oh,
right. I mean, it was a lot of spots there where they would hit each other, and the guy would fall and then jump right back up. I'm like, damn.
Adrenaline is one hell of a drug.
Yeah, all right. From a kayfabe standpoint, I guess that makes sense. But still, I'm just like, come on, guys. Still a little bit of a compelling story as far as one guy, punishing the other one or something. But anyway, Rey Fenix won cleanly, which is a little bit shocking for me. I was like, whoa. So
there's an interesting story you can tell there. Let's say they do Pac versus Nick, have Nick lose that one. They're not singles wrestlers; they don't wrestle that, so they can lose those matches. But they're stronger together. There's a story you can tell there
for the Young Bucks. Yeah. So this is definitely probably step one of what will eventually be their matchup against each other, because Death Triangle, they are number one contenders for the Young Bucks tag titles. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm guessing they're going to build up to that. So this was step one of that eventual match. So, hey, nonetheless, I mean, listen, from an athleticism standpoint, awesome, fun match here. Next up, let's see. All right. So Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley cut a pre-tape promo to more or less defend what happened at Revolution, the finale of that anticlimactic finish of the exploding barbed wire death match, and just the pyro and just how lack of exploding. Yeah.
Here's my thing, Matt. I heard Sam Roberts say this on his podcast this week. If they hadn't have done the explosion, I think everything would have been fine. You just leave Moxley lying there, the battered warrior who couldn't beat the villain. You just go off the air like that. That would have been cool. Or you know what? You have I heard this on Cheap Heat with Peter Rosenberg. You have Kingston actually get him out of there, and then the stuff goes off, and you're like, well, what the hell was that? we'll hear an explanation on Dynamite or something. And, Mox and Kingston, they did a good job of like, what the hell was that, But in the end, I got my friend back, and Kingston was like, hey, I'm sorry, the world title makes you do crazy things, So I thought their promo was good. Now Kenny's on the other hand, they tried too hard.
Okay, so yeah, Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley. If you watch Dynamite, you know more or less what they said as far as Eddie Kingston, as far as he saw his friend beat up. He ran out there to make the save because he was worried that he was going to explode in the ring. And that's why he went to go cover him. The reason he passed out and was just laying there because everyone was laughing is like it was an anticlimactic explosion, but yet Eddie Kingston was selling it like he was knocked out. He said he suffered a lot of anxiety in the moment and passed out because as he was running to the ring and making the save, he had flashbacks to when he was younger. He was in jail. The guards were, teasing him that he was going to go to prison. And so all those emotions came back to him in a flashback and he just passed out from the anxiety. Okay. All right. I'll go with that from a kayfabe story standpoint. He delivered it really good. I like how he's mocking Kenny Omega. It's like, you play video games. My hands are scarred up from, being on the streets. He put it over the fire. And then Moxley jumped in. It's like, what kind of explosion was that? That was terrible. Did you guys buy some Acme explosive, which for the younger people out there, Acme is a reference to Looney Tunes and the explosions that Wile E. Coyote would try to use on the Roadrunner and stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny. It was like, okay, but the reference I think was a little dated, but I got it. I grew up on Looney Tunes. And then they're like, the fact that it was such a lackluster explosion, it's like Impact must have paid for it, meaning they didn't have a lot of money. So, okay, I chuckled at that. I was like, okay, all right. And then, Jon Moxley, as you just mentioned, is like, well, I did appreciate you coming out and saving me. I'm glad to have my drinking buddy back. And Eddie Kingston says, yeah, I'm not going to let my friend, die on TV or explode on TV. So, and he apologized. Yeah, the world title, when you go after the world title, it makes you do crazy things. So that kind of explains their rivalry last year, but they're back on good terms now. And then, they more or less told the Kenny Omega and them, like, hey, if you're going to flash a weapon, make sure you know how to use it. So I was like, ooh, little street talk right there. I was like, man, that's intense. But let me ask you this. It was kind of funny how Eddie Kingston said Kenny Omega is the Joker to your Batman, to Moxley, which I get it. It's like, they're trying to play it off that this lackluster explosion, it was just playing games and trying to get everyone wild up. But in reality, they did on purpose anticlimactic because they want to like let everyone down. So are you cool with that? Like comparing Joker to Batman to Omega to Moxley?
Oh, well, what Joker? Are we talking Cesar Romero from like Adam West Batman? Are we talking Jack Nicholson? Not Heath Ledger, obviously. Mark Hamill? Like Jared Leto? Like what Joker are we talking?
Considering how cartoonish it was, probably Mark Hamill.
No, I'd go Cesar Romero from Adam West Batman.
How cheesy it was.
Yeah, the clown prince of crime.
So, okay, for Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, I give him credit for trying to recover from the situation. Pretty cool promo to, I guess, sell kayfabe-wise what happened with that anticlimactic finish. But let me ask you this. And this is something, I don't know if you know, I posed a question to John LaRocca the other day. Like, what is the point of that big explosion at the 30-minute mark? Like, what is the point of it? Like, what is the point of that stipulation? Because the match was over and they still had a few minutes to kill before the explosion happened. So, like, I assume if the match is done beforehand, then you turn off all the explosives. But was that 30-minute explosion, is that like a timer for like, you guys better wrap up the match beforehand? If you don't, you both explode. Like I just don't get, what was that 30-minute explosion for?
It didn't need to happen, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm thinking. It's like, that stipulation didn't make sense because I get it. Like, okay, if you guys don't beat the crap out of each other and get this match done before 30 minutes, you're both going to explode. I get that. That adds some, excitement to it, like the sense of urgency. But overall, like after Omega won, I was like, oh, okay, so the match is done. But the fact that the bomb's still gonna go off, I was like, what? Why? What's the point? So that's why I'm just still confused of that 30-minute bomber going off. So yeah, could he avoid it by not having that aspect of it, that extra stipulation? Who knows? But So anyway, next up, we saw Cody Rhodes in a squash match defeat Seth Gargis. He beat him with a figure 4 leg lock, and that was done pretty quick. So then we see Shivani come out and try to interview Cody Rhodes. But before he can really get any words out, we see Penta El Miedo, jump up. He was sitting over at the Spanish commentary booth, and he starts talking to Cody. And he had Alex Abarantes. Oh, I'm butchering his name. He does usually the Dynamite pre-show and the pay-per-view pre-show. He's all over the YouTube page on AEW, and he does sometimes the post-show as well for Dynamite. So the guy, is very much part of AEW's commentary team. He does the Spanish announcer team as well. So, him and Pentagon are walking to the ring, and, Alex is translating for Penta and more or less calling out Cody that he's a better wrestler while he's the prince of wrestling. He's the Lord of Lucha Libre.
Hey, I like that. The Prince of Pro Wrestling versus the Lord of Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that.
And then he said, listen, if Revolution, you lost to 6 of us, or overall 6 of us in that ladder match, but if it was one-on-one, I would have beat the crap out of you. And not only would you have lost, but your shoulder would have been hurt, that you wouldn't be able to carry your newborn baby. And that set Cody off to go chase him down, and it led to a brawl. So what do you think of this whole segment here?
I liked it, but Brandon and I, we kind of agreed on this. Alex, what's the guy's name? Alex
Abrahantes. I hear him say it on YouTube and stuff, but I still can't pronounce it properly. Okay. So my bad.
Let's just call him Alex.
Alex A.
Alex A. So here's what I would have done. I would have had him be more kind of timid to repeat the things in English,
like what? No.
like Pentagon say something like puto, and then are you sure you want me to say that? And then oh, okay. I would have had him be more timid to say things. That's my only thing.
And the Penta would be grabbing him, say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little tension. Yeah, good point. That would have been great. But I will admit, and this is something I forgot to mention at the top of the show, I felt like at Dynamite, this episode of Dynamite, I felt like they were kind of resetting some stuff and creating new storylines. And so obviously this is one of them. So what do you think? Cody versus Penta as the new direction for Cody Rhodes?
That's fine. He can't challenge for the world title. He's been in the TNT title picture. He's not in a tag team, so
Let me ask you this. Do you remember? We've seen them wrestle before. APW.
Yes, we have. That's right. For
APW.
Oh my God, it was 2017. Oh my God.
I think so. Yeah. No, because when I saw this, I was like, oh, cool. We're going to get Cody and Penta on AEW television. But then I thought about it. I was like, I think we've seen them wrestle each other before.
Yeah, that was
locally, APW. So I texted John LaRocca. I was like, hey, did they wrestle each other? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I thought we'd seen them. So you and I, we've seen, Cody and Penta wrestle each other locally here in the Bay Area for All Pro Wrestling. So we're very lucky. Another reminder why you should go to APW. You can see matchups there that could be on television a few years later. So it's very cool that they're doing it. So Penta is acting heelish here. And it's interesting. Pac and Ray Phoenix from Death Triangle are kind of, would you say they're being baby faces? But it's kind of odd because they're going against the Young Bucks, and Young Bucks are baby faces. So is Death Triangle still heelish now?
I think they're tweeners, neutral, whatever.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to this matchup. I don't know when it's going to take place, but nonetheless, Cody and Penta, that should be a lot of fun. I mean, just the storytelling that they could tell in the ring. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm glad for Penta. So it looks like Penta separating himself from his brother, the Lucha Brothers, and he's able to kind of start having more of a singles run. I'm all for it. Even though I love Ray Phoenix, I would love to see Ray Phoenix get a singles run at some point. But I'll be patient because let him and Pac do their thing and let Penta be the first one to go. So I think that's cool. So next up, we saw a promo that I was just so over it. We saw Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy in the arcade. I'm not going to spend much time on it. They want to challenge Miro and Kip to a match in an arcade match with all the arcades around the ring. And I'm like, I thought this was done. I was like, quit adding to this. So I'll move on from that. I'm tired. I'm tired of this matchup. I don't know about you. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah, I liked Miro better when his wife was stolen by the WWE champion Bobby Lashley.
I know, dude. She could say she's a good luck charm. She led to future things for him. I don't know.
Well, not for Miro.
Which, by the way, kudos to her. I guess she's in a new movie with Bruce Willis, Cosmic Sin, that's out
Bruce
now.
Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis, which we are giving away that movie code next week, 1077 The Bone, the morning show. So if you want to win a movie, yeah, tune in for it. I didn't realize until I saw her tweet about it and Miro retweeted it. I was like, oh, she's in that movie? We're giving away movie codes for that next week, digital download. So I'll have to you maybe try to promote that somehow. So, and then next up, we see once again Tony Schiavone interview Sting. And I don't know about you, man. Like, I'm so burnt out. Like, Sting needs to go away for a little bit. I love Sting. I grew up watching Sting, but I'm so burnt out already from the first 3 months of him. Like, I don't know about you. Do you think he needs to take a little bit of a break?
I don't think we'd be burnt out if he didn't do the same thing like for like 9 weeks in a row. If he just did something different, you know what I mean? Like that's all he has to do.
I mean, it's like it's if he would have used it more sparingly, like maybe every other week. But I don't know what he's getting paid. But maybe they feel like they get their money's worth and have him on TV more often. But I'm like, come on, man. But he barely said anything. Lance Archer comes out with Jake the Snake Roberts, and they cut him off. And Lance Archer more or less was complaining, says, if you won't give us time, we'll take time. And then Schiavone responded, well, this is Sting time here right now. And then Jake Roberts says, we'll see you around. I don't know, man. I'm like kind of confused. Is Lance Archer back to being a heel again? And well, like, is him and Sting are going to have like a program?
Dude, I don't know. Well, funny. That's actually funny. This happened when Lance Archer was in WWE. His finisher was the Scorpion Death Drop.
Really?
Yeah, that's
like
actually
the actual move.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow!
I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. You see,
wait, when was he in WWE? How long ago?
He was on ECW in 2009.
Wow. Okay.
That's Vance Archer.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. And then I remember he had a stint in TNA as well, right?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
I don't remember
but
that.
the thing also, like, okay, Jake the Snake and Sting, don't they have history in WCW? Like,
probably.
I think so. I was kind of, but I was like, I kind of hoping maybe they acknowledge each other because they are around the same age. So that's what I was kind of hoping.
Dude, like, is what's his name? Is Archer gonna hit him with that black
mass? No, not black mass. Black mass. It's Aleister Black.
Black hole. No, that's Abyss. Yeah. Jesus. Oh, what is the name of it?
Give me a sec. Let me see. Lance
his
Archer.
Finishing move. Like if he's not gonna do that, then who cares? You know what I mean?
Let's see. Where is it? It's Blackout.
Blackout. Yeah, it's like a crucifix.
It says inverted crucifix power bomb.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like if he's not gonna hit that, like who cares?
So I was just like, listen, I know AEW really takes pride on connecting, even though they're a newer company, connecting themselves with the past wrestling history. Guys like Tully and Arn Anderson, Jake the Snake, and making the connections to like WCW and NWA. Like I said, AEW is like loosely the spiritual successor for all those promotions, especially being on TNT. So I hope they acknowledge Jake the Snake and Sting having some history together. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see. But I mean, listen, Jake the Snake and Sting are, I don't know, physically they'll ever mix it up somehow, but that'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, anyway, Lance Archer kind of be more heelish. I'm a little bummed because I like him as this babyface monster. So for him to do a 180, I'm like, come on, man. You just started booking him from the last couple months as a babyface. Now you're going to switch on him again? I'm like, this is ridiculous. He'll be having his Big Show back there telling him to switch the babyface to heel again. So I don't know. Crazy, man. All right. Next up, we had All Ego Ethan Page. So making his Dynamite debut, taking on Lee Johnson with QT Marshall. If you're watching live on the East Coast feed, this is where most of the audio issues took place here. And we joked about that already. Solid match here. Ultimately, Ethan Page got the victory after Lee Johnson was having the leg injury, or we saw Ethan Page pump kick Lee Johnson in the face, and Ethan Page hurl Lee halfway across the ring, and then he pinned him, and then Ethan Page continued to attack Lee Johnson after the match. He was beat up, outside the ring, and QT Marshall just walked away and didn't even help him when he was getting beat up. And then Dustin Rhodes comes out to make the save. and Ethan Page runs away, and then Dustin helps out Lee Johnson here. So the QT Marshall stuff, like, I don't know about you, man. I don't really care about QT Marshall. Like, why is he getting a storyline on Dynamite? Like, I feel like whatever storyline you're creating here right now, it could be better served using that screen time for someone else on the roster who you can make another star out of. I guess the point is maybe for Lee Johnson.
That's true, and I think this is all going to lead to Lee Johnson having like a big victory over QT. I think Dustin and QT will wrestle. QT will beat Dustin, and then it'll lead to like QT and Lee Johnson having a match. I think they're just trying to do something different, like not use everybody, like not use kind of the same guys. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening anyway. They're just trying to freshen it up a little bit.
Well, I guess QT, I'm already guessing his motivation is he got pissed when Lee Johnson didn't say his name when he was thanking everyone. Was that last month when he had a big victory or whatever on Dynamite and got signed, and didn't thank QT Marshall, but he thanked everyone else from the Nightmare family. And then we saw QT and Dustin already having beef at the Battle Royale match from at Revolution. So anyway, I'm just like a little frustrated because I'm like, QT Marshall, like, who cares about him? And if he's mad, like, that guy's been mostly on Dark for the longest time, and he's not even like a full-time competitor that's compelling. Like, I feel like whatever screen time they're using here, they can give that to someone else that's more deserving, that's more interesting. So anyway, moving on, we saw Alex Marvez backstage interviewing Hangman Adam Page. He comes rolling up in a big lawnmower. He confessed that that's what he spent his money on. What'd you think about that?
Did you see that video I put on the Bulletcast Instagram?
Yes, I did.
You see, that's long-term storytelling.
I know, dude.
This has been a year in the making.
That was great. I love that. As far as over the last year, he was making drops or Easter eggs on what being the elite, how he wanted a lawnmower. He wanted a lawnmower. If he had money, he would buy a lawnmower or whatever. So he kept making references to that. So that was great. So did you post that on the Bulletcast Instagram?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so please check that out. So it was cool. Then the Dark Order comes running up, and they all want to jump on and get some ice cream. And then one of the guys couldn't fit because of the weight limit, so they drove off without him. So I wonder if, they're going to have that lawnmower more often. Oh, yeah, even Brody Lee referenced he bought 6 lawnmowers just to rub it in Hangman's face.
Yeah, he did do that. That's probably going to be his entrance now, a lawnmower. Instead of a horse.
So I'm curious how long this whole thing with the Dark Order is going to go for. I mean, he's being the goofy angle right now, but I still want him. Hopefully they won't run out of time to build him up to be a legit competitor to take on Kenny Omega at some point. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for long term. I'm down to enjoy this for the short term, but I still want Hangman. I think Hangman could really be like a Stone Cold type figure in AEW if booked properly.
By like mid to late June or early July, we should really start building up Hangman.
Yeah, so by early summer, they really should be focusing on him. So maybe after Double or Nothing, really start focusing on building him up as a big time main eventer, babyface to challenge Kenny Omega. Because I think Kenny Omega can run roughshod on everyone else coming his way right now. And actually, speaking of Kenny Omega, so next up we see Tony Schiavone come out trying to interview Christian Cage, but instead Kenny Omega interrupts, comes out to the ring with Don Callis and the Good Brothers. And they cut a promo kind of defending their side of the story about the lackluster main finale. What'd you think about it?
Dude, look, they did, like, they tried too hard. That's all they did. They should have just let Mox and Kingston do it, make like a little reference, like, what did you think we were going to blow up this place? And then be done with it. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do was be done with it. And then Kenny could have talked about something else or whatever. And then Kingston comes out there and Kingston did come out there, and like they were just trying to make fun of him, and they were like, "Oh, the timer's gonna go off," and like Don covered Kenny or whatever, which kind of reminded me of when CM Punk and Paul Heyman made fun of Jerry Lawler's heart attack. It reminded me of that.
When Kenny said, "69 me, Don, 69 me." Okay. Watch the video again. He on the mic said, 69 me, Don, 69 me. And Don got on. I'm like,
This is why we don't let people just say whatever they want on live TV. This is exactly why.
Yes. I was going to say from their standpoint, they're just trying to say that, listen, we know how much you guys wanted to see Explosion to the finale to that match, but we're not going to give it to you because they're trying to be heels. They're like, Tony Khan's all about making memories. Well, we don't care about taking care of the fans and satisfying the fans. We're going to take it away from you guys and we took that moment away from you. So that's how they're trying to backtrack and explain why it was such a lackluster explosion. So they're adding a lot to it.
Well, I mean, Kenny, he might be the Impact champion in a little bit anyway.
I know.
With that big thing that's actually, that pay-per-view's today.
It's tonight, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I might try to catch it at some point. I'm curious how this plays out.
I know. Let's see Kenny versus Moose.
We'll see what the finish is. So.
Anyway, so like how does Christian come out? Like there's like a kerfuffle, right? Kingston's trying to fight them all.
Yeah, so Kingston's trying to fight all four of them. So Kenny gets in Eddie Kingston's face and calls him out. It's like, you're not gonna hit me. You're gonna hit me. Eddie does hit him, and then the Good Brothers attack him. Moxley comes out for the save. They're all a big scruffle everywhere. Then Christian comes out finally, and everyone's outside. Christian grabs the AEW World Championship, looks at it, and then looks at Kenny Omega and puts it down. So already Christian Cage, I guess, first opponent he's going after or challenging is going to be Kenny Omega. So and then Kenny comes in, tries to take it back, and then Christian was going to try to hit his finisher.
Yeah, the unprettier or kill switch, whatever we're calling it. And Don grabs his leg to slide him out of the ring. It's actually funny. The night before, I was playing my PlayStation right now, WWE 2K20. Yeah. I made an AEW Universe, and Kenny's my champion, and I put Christian in there, and he challenged him. I'm like, maybe Tony Khan has tapped into my PS4 or something.
so they have a little bit back and forth. So I guess, Kenny Omega's maybe next opponent is going to be Christian Cage. I mean, if anything, that's a good veteran for Christian to put over Kenny Omega in the short term. So it'd be curious, see how that's going to play out. I mean, they're both going to be. Christian's going to be good on the mic as well. So. All right, that's cool, I guess. Next up, yes, a trios match taking on Shida, Ryo Mizunami, Thunder Rosa taking on Nyla Rose, Maki Ito, and Britt Baker. Man, as we kind of mentioned at the top of the show, this was just a complete mess. I don't know about you, man. This was just... Maki Ito, like, I was laughing when she comes out and she starts singing and everyone else starts fighting.
I thought that was annoying. I just thought that was annoying and stupid. Like, this was all just so bad.
I mean, I guess she's just trying to say, like, the world could be, like, self-destructing around her, but she doesn't care as long as she gets her singing in. That's all that matters.
I guess, but I'm like it was bad, like Britt, Nyla, Thunder Rosa, and Cheetah, who's a champion. Like they're the four probably best workers in the company for the women's division, and they were all involved in this chicanery that was just abysmal.
But Maki Ito, she starts hitting Shida on the head with the microphone. She like barely hits her, and then like she hits her like 3 or 4 more times, not even touching her, and it was such slow motion. I was like, that is bad.
Honestly, with singing gimmicks, like if you're not 8 in English and you're not 3 count, I don't want to see it.
And then, but in the ring, Maki Ito, I felt like she was like botching stuff, not very smooth. Even Shida was, I think, moving very slow. I mean, thank God Thunder Rosa, when she came in, made the hot tag, she started laying some stiff shots in there, because I think like before that, no one was really hitting each other. But Thunder Rosa, like I said before, AEW, sign her as soon as her NWA deal is up, sign her to a full-time contract. She could be your foundation for your women's division for years to come. But when she came in, at least she started like laying into people, stiff shots, and started making somewhat of a competitive match here.
Where's Serena Deep been? Where's she been at?
I'm not sure what's been going on. Maybe they're kind of holding her off. Just I'm guessing because she's NWA Women's Champion.
And they're starting up next week or week
next
after?
Next weekend. Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Me too. I'm curious how it's going to look, and it's kind of cool. Some of the names they've been announcing, you can see over on their Twitter page.
I haven't. Is it on their Twitter or Instagram? Or
Twitter.
Both?
I look on Twitter. So yeah,
okay.
Chris Masters is going to be part of it, but he's going to be going by Chris Adonis. So.
That was my first interview.
Yeah, so it'd be cool, man. So, there's not a lot to say. I thought this was just a complete train wreck, just botch moves. Nothing was smooth. Even at one point, Sheeta was like standing there and was like trying to like maybe do a spin kick, but she didn't hit anyone. And then Maki just ran into her and tackled her. It was such a bad move. And then at one point, Thunder Rosa went up to one corner and Britt Baker did not run up to her. So Thunder Rosa had to jump off and go chase her. So it was just a lot of miscommunication. It was just not a very good segment. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like Maki, but I'm watching her. I'm like, what is so special about her? There's nothing in the ring that stands out like, oh, she's such a great worker. So I don't know if they want to keep her around long term. I don't know. And then even Ryo Mizunami, like she was doing those same like soft slaps once again, like she did Revolution. I was like, that's ridiculous. So anyway, overall, I just was not impressed. It was just such bad. So let's power through this. We saw a private party, Matt Hardy backstage. Matt Hardy pissed at Hangman has his money for the first quarter. I thought it would make more sense. It should have been the second quarter because here we are we're halfway through the month of March and he says, I'll get all my money back starting April 1st. That's in 2 weeks. So theoretically, did Matt have to pay him back pay for the months of January, February, and now March? I think it would have make more sense. It should have been the second quarter. So April, May, and June. That's what I'm thinking. It would make more sense from a story standpoint. But anyway, he was pissed off eating grapes. And if you watch Being the Elite, Matt Hardy was eating grapes there as well. But Matt Hardy's like, listen, I have plenty of money buried elsewhere. So this is just one, what he said, chest or vault that was taken away from him. But he has plenty of other stacks of money elsewhere. But he's like, we got to make more money. And then he adds to the Matt Hardy Empire. I kind of like that. Is that going to be the name of his organization, the Matt Hardy Empire? Are you cool with that?
MHE.
So he add the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, which I'm like laughing. It's like, wait, so the Butcher and the Blade, they leave one kind of, what's the word?
Quasi-faction to another.
Yeah, but there was like, it seemed like a bunch of random people thrown together to go into another group of just random people thrown together. So you got Matt Hardy, Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, and Bunny all working together now. It's just such an odd pairing overall. So I was just kind of scratching my head, like, what's the point? And plus the Butcher and the Blade, they just jump around from group to group. But then again, I guess, was it last year or 2019? Remember, didn't they have that backstage segment at the butcher shop that they're like pretty much hired guns? If I remember correctly, was it MJF who tried to hire them?
Yeah.
So I guess the point being, they're trying to be hired guns.
Whoever has the most money, that's where they go.
So I guess Matt Hardy has the most money. So I guess that's the only rationale I had for this. All right, next up was the TNT Championship. Darby Allin defending against Scorpio Sky. Now, this match was pretty good, back and forth. I mean, Scorpio Sky was laying into Darby Allin. Darby Allin, I feel like every match he just takes a beating from his opponent. How about you? What do you think about this match here?
It was good. I liked it. I didn't know Darby was an amateur wrestler, so now I connect with him on another level now. Yeah. He was like I've seen him just get like beat up and thrown around, and him throw his body around. I've never like seen him really wrestle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, he can really work. I saw the sit-out turn-ins and the sit-out stand-ups, and then he tried to go for a Peterson and a Gazzoni. I was like, all right, that's what's up. So they were really wrestling. I thought that was cool. But I thought the really cool spot, he was going for the coffin drop, and Sky caught him with the sit-out power bomb. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But all in all, Darby got the dub. Retained the title.
Yeah, no, it's I enjoyed this match for the most part. I thought it was a good back and forth. And then was a Darby got his leg injured at one point, and Scorpio was working on it a little bit, but then my only thing was it was just a basic roll up though. Like Darby takes this beating and Scorpio looks dominant here, but then ultimately just on a little technicality as far as Scorpio Sky gets rolled up by Darby and Darby gets the win here. And then Scorpio's pissed, and then he starts beating the crap out of him afterwards so to get some more heat since he's now this sudden heel. That's my one little issue. Like last week, all of a sudden he had this new attitude on the commentary booth and it's just kind of saying, oh yeah, he's a heel now. So I feel like it's just a very sudden heelish turn just out of nowhere.
What with the roll up, like he doesn't really lose credibility because he got rolled up. Like, oh, okay, damn, he got me, all right. But like, what I would have done, I would have let Scorpio have a rematch next week, and then him lose that like more cleanly, we should say.
Yeah,
and then like have him attack him, like have Darby have an interview like in the back, and then Scorpio run up and blast him from behind.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Scorpio Sky has lost both his TNT title opportunities. The first one against Cody last year, and this one's against Darby. So I guess he's frustrated. So that's why he's being more heelish. But, he beats up Darby's leg and he looks at his hands afterward. Like, I guess, is he realizing that his hands are a weapon now? Like, he can use them? I mean, it was kind of funny. He was just staring at him like, oh, I got powerful hands.
He's going to register them like Bruce Lee did.
So it's, anyway, I just thought it was pretty funny just looking at that. But anyway, it's just still, I feel very sudden, this heel turn. Like, what's the point of it, the motivation? So is he officially separated from SCU, who SCU we saw early in the night, watching the Young Bucks or Matt Jackson's Rey Fenix match. So, but yeah, there's no explanation of why this heel turn on Scorpio Sky. So hopefully they flesh this out some more. That's my one issue. They'll change things on a dime and don't explain anything. We see that with Lance Archer. We've seen a lot of stories just fall through shortly. Because remember, even last year, Wardlow was pissed off at MJF and almost was like hinting at a babyface turn and beating the crap out of MJF, but that never happened. So I feel like they stop and go a lot of stories, but don't follow through on it. So I hope this one, Scorpio Sky, okay, if this is the direction you're going to go, please explain what happened, why we're at this point.
Well, we all know Tony Schiavone is going to interview him in the middle of the ring next week. That's just what happens.
And he'll just cut a promo. So, yeah. And then, last segment was the War Council for the Inner Circle, and we went into detail about that at the beginning. So, like I said, some good, some bad. That's kind of typical AEW Dynamite show. I think the way the show ended was great. It got a lot of people talking. And hopefully, we'll see a lot of people, tune in next week and they follow through up on that. So, careful. There are spoilers online for what happened. It was taped. So, if you want to be surprised, please do your best to avoid that and just enjoy the show next week. And yeah, here we are now on the road to Double or Nothing coming up in May. So, a lot of stuff to look forward to. Hopefully over the month of March and April and May. So, I like this time of the year, man. So much going on between AEW and then NXT, WWE, WrestleMania. So good stuff, man. So, all right, let's start wrapping things up. Philip, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Heel Antoine, HeeLantWine. LANTWINE. And then follow us, The Bulletcast on Instagram, at Bulletcast on Twitter, The Bulletcast on YouTube. Email us bulletcast2 and the number 2 sweet SWET@gmail.com. First time the Bulletcast title has ever been defended that many times in the span of 1 week. Both nights of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Both nights of WrestleMania 37. It's gonna be a great time. I'm excited. I'm looking to win back the title for a 12th time, and I'm looking to keep it all 3 days. I think, you know what, if I can do that, I'll be the greatest champion ever. Then we can retire the title. Oh my god!
Now I'll make my own title. I'll hire someone like Eric Bischoff type person, bring it out to me in a briefcase, and just give it to me.
Oh man, you want the NWA TV title I got over here?
Might have to have West Coast design. Get my tax return and get my belt made.
Hey, he's working on quite a few of them right now. You gotta wait in line, buddy.
I know, dude. More power to him. That's awesome.
Absolutely, he's killing it. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever. So is the Microphone Messiah.
Now I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey 83, at In The Kliq for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm going to catch up hopefully tonight or tomorrow at some point, just uploading a bunch of recent audio clips as well. Remember, subscribe to In The Kliq on your favorite podcast platform. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us a comment, a review. That helps with the algorithm, especially people, if they're searching for a wrestling podcast to listen to, if they see those reviews, that'll hopefully give them more motivation to subscribe and listen to us on a regular basis. And thank you once again for all the continued support, Kliqsters. Get the merch. Go to the link in our bio on either Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and get the merch, In The Kliq merch. We should work on some maybe new merch designs. Philip, I was thinking, I got the In The Kliq shirt, the original one, but I kind of like how, when you and I talk, you like to say ITK. So maybe I was thinking like an ITK shirt, kind of like an abbreviation, but maybe in the same style of our graphic, but do it ITK like that. So abbreviated version of that. That's one idea I had. So anyway, I'm already throwing out ideas out there. So maybe you and I can brainstorm or something. So on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.